Okay, and music also becomes important again with the Miss Lonely Heart story. Miss Lonely Hearts is one of the neighbors who is desperate for a romantic connection, and she begins to despair that she's never going to meet a nice guy, and she tries to commit suicide. She is saved by the music from the apartment across the street. So being able to hear the music. Uh, the fact that it's diegetic music, the fact that it's in-story music, the fact that it's music the characters themselves can hear, is a really important part of. It becomes important to one of the characters, so it's reinforced by that. It's also there's also some funny, sort of slightly unrealistic things, but it's quite fun and I really enjoy it. Which is that the one of the songs that they're singing across the way, you gotta kind of listen hard for it, but it has it's about a girl named Lisa, which is of course the name of our main character in the film. But they keep singing a song about Lisa, and of course that makes it feel like non-diegetic music, like it's composed for the movie about the characters. But I think it's just a song that coincidentally has her name in it or sounds like it does. Um, Okay, cool. So, and I said that the reason Hitchcock does this is that he wants to link you to the main character. One of the ways one question to always ask about characters is, do they know more, less, or the same as you do? In the case of music, you and Jimmy Stewart are hearing all the same music. He hears what you hear what he hears, and neither of you hears stuff that is kept secret from the other one, right? Whereas in the case of Batman, I hear Batman's theme song, but he doesn't hear his own theme song. Um, so there's a little bit of, and it's not a big deal, but it's a little bit of a disconnect between me and Batman. Whereas me and Jimmy Stewart hear all the same stuff. There's something very similar being done with camera work in this movie, and it's really one of the most amazing things. Is that, and it's hilarious that I'm doing this, in this COVID semester. It's crazy that I'm doing this because I was always going to teach these movies, but the first three movies that we look at this semester are all movies about or star people who are isolated in some way. A lot of folks have been obviously quarantining at home for weeks and weeks and weeks. Rear Window is the story of a guy who cannot leave his apartment. Um, our main character is trapped in his apartment because of his injuries. What Hitchcock does that's a really neat thing with camera work is that, it's something you could watch the whole movie and not even necessarily notice, but it's really dramatic and really interesting. Which is that Hitchcock never, until the end of the movie, until Jimmy Stewart leaves the apartment in the final seconds of the movie, the whole movie where Jimmy Stewart is stuck in the apartment, the camera is also stuck in the apartment. You'll notice that Hitchcock never films a scene at Thorwald's place, where there's no close-up of Thorwald unless Jimmy Stewart is holding something that's making him see Thorwald up close, like the lens or like the camera lens or the binoculars. So that again, it's another one of those moments where the character is linked to you, the viewer. What do you guys have in common? Everything you see is from Jimmy Stewart's apartment. So there's no second location, but we don't even get into the other characters' apartments. What we know of Miss Lonely Hearts, the camera never goes into her apartment. You never get to see a close-up of her face where it's zoomed in, the camera shows what's happening in her house. The camera's never in Thorwald's apartment. You never really even get to hear Thorwald's wife being mean to him or whatever. So this is a really crucial thing. Jimmy Stewart is trapped in the apartment, and many of us have been trapped in our apartments for weeks. And Jimmy Stewart has been trapped in his apartment for weeks. And so one of the things, Hitchcock makes sure that the camera is also trapped in the apartment. Everything we see is what Jimmy Stewart can see, because Jimmy Stewart cannot go in Miss Lonely Heart's apartment, because Jimmy Stewart cannot go into Jeffries, the guy, the main character in the movie, because he can't go in Thorwald's apartment. Because he can't go in Thorwald's apartment, we don't go in Thorwald's apartment, and it really anchors us and links us to this character in a really, really serious way. Our experiences are his experiences. This is the kind of thing people don't notice. You can imagine them making the movie and having a bunch of camera stuff, showing different locations. Let's film a scene inside Jeff's apartment, and then let's show Thorwald with his wife alone. It doesn't do that. Because it anchors us to the main character. And if we're anchored to the main character, if we care about the main character, and being anchored to him makes us care. If our experiences are his experiences, then his emotions are our emotions. And if that's true, then we're hooked on the story. And we want to keep knowing, we want to know what's going to happen next, not just because we're like, I'm interested in that guy, but we feel like we're that guy. He's trapped in an apartment, we're trapped in the apartment. There's a crucial moment that is a little bit different. There's one really sort of key moment, which is when the little dog dies. That's an interesting. It's placed in a really interesting moment. It's about 30 minutes to the end of the movie at that point, and it's the first time that all the characters sort of interact with each other. There's that one lady. The lady comes out and she says, "Our little, you killed. Who would kill this sweet little dog?" And she gives a whole speech. Now, because in that moment, the whole courtyard is kind of come together, the camera, for the first time in the movie, and it's a pretty dramatic moment, for the first time in the movie, the camera kind of comes out into the courtyard a little bit to film some of these people up closer. But notice that he saves that camera move for a dramatic moment in the movie that doesn't look like any other moment. Usually, it's Jimmy Stewart talking about what he's seeing, but the camera work changes when it's the lady across the way talking about her dead dog. The dramatic moment in life, a dog has been murdered and someone's yelling at everyone about it, is mirrored. It's captured by the dramatic change in camera work. This is the first time where the camera's positioned sort of not just inside Jimmy Stewart's apartment, but a little bit more center in the courtyard. It's what gives that scene its impact. It feels like something big is happening because the camera work has changed for the first time in the film. Okay, cool. This is going pretty good. And that's something you should look for. There'll be certain, let's say you get a camera shot of a guy's face and then somebody else's face and you're on the ground level the whole time. There's another moment in the movie where the camera work does something different than it's done before. It's a dramatic moment in the movie, and so a new camera technique is a good way of being like, holy shit, guys, this is important. What is it? It's the part in the movie where Jeffries is, right, I'm just going to call him Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart is Jeffries, the main character in the wheelchair. It's the part of the movie where Jimmy Stewart is writing a note to Thorwald saying, what happened to your wife? And that's the first time in the movie when the camera gives an overhead shot of the paper, right? So he kind of does this sort of thing, and he's writing on and it's up here like this, and it kind of zooms, the camera, Hitchcock kind of zooms in like that. It's the first time we've had an overhead camera shot in the film, and I think it's the only time in the film we have an overhead camera shot like that. The issue isn't, and this is a mistake a lot of students will make, a lot of students will say something like, well, what does the overhead camera shot mean? And they think that if they can find out what an overhead camera shot means, then they'll know what it means in all the movies. It doesn't work like that. Dream symbolism books work the exact same way. They say, if you dream about teeth, then it means this. And when dream symbolism books, what they're trying to claim, ridiculously, that the same symbol would mean the same thing for lots of different people. Well, what if it was 100 years ago? What if it's in India? Right? I mean, it doesn't, they're claiming these are universal cross-cultural symbols, cross time and cross place. But that's, I think, the better way to think about dreams. It's not like, what do teeth mean in dreams for everybody? It's, what do teeth mean in dreams for you? What do you associate them with? Because it's your brain that's giving you teeth symbolism in a movie. And so you don't want to find out what teeth mean in all dreams everywhere across time and space. You want to know, why am I dreaming about teeth? And some people may feel very good about teeth. It may be a very positive symbol. It may be a very scary symbol, people getting bitten. It might be a symbol of decay, your teeth fall out. So it could be all kinds of different things. Similarly to the camera shots, it's not so much that an overhead camera shot means something. It's just to notice that, why is this camera shot, an overhead camera shot, appearing at this moment in the movie when it has never happened before? And the answer is that it's a way of showing that something different is happening. This is the first time they're like making contact with Thorwald. Something big and dramatic is happening, and we get a new camera shot to go along with that. That's a crucial thing, is you're not trying to figure out it's not a code where we're going to learn the symbols and crack them. It's what does it mean in this context? And I will be going over this again and again. So that's one of the points I wanted to make about camera work. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video.